Greetings towards my Century Galaxy Kingdom, it's the Century Man here, so back again with another classic SummerSlam pay-per-view review. So this weekend marks the 10-year anniversary of a SummerSlam I'm talking about right now. That is SummerSlam 2011 at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California on the 14th of August 2011. The attendance for the show was 17,404. This show received about 296,000 pay-per-view buys, a downgrade than the 2010 SummerSlam event, a pay-per-view I covered in the past last year on this channel. The main event of that show was Team WWE versus the Team Nexus. This is the match when John Cena, or Super Cena, buried that group, that promising group. I don't want to get into that. I covered that pay-per-view last year on this channel. Go and check it out. Anyway, and that pay-per-view received about 350,000 pay-per-view buys. Holy crap. Anyway, so let's fast forward to 2011. This pay-per-view came off after the events of Money in the Bank. I'll get to the main event, talk about more details after the aftermath of Money in the Bank 2011. And by the way, this is the final WWE pay-per-view under the first brand split. And after that, they decided to get rid of it. I don't know why they got rid of the first brand split. I think they decided to just do be a single brand company. And next time they'll do a brand split will be 5 years into the future in 2016. I think the first pay-per-view under the brand split 2.0 will be, I think it's between not Money in the Bank, Battleground 2016 or SummerSlam 2016. I think it's one or the other. Anyway, so the commentators for the show are Michael Cole, Jerry the King Lawler, and Booker T. The first match before that, I'm going to do a quick result of the dark match. I've seen it recently on Wikipedia. I never knew it was a dark match, it really tipped me off a little bit. The dark match, we had Dolph Ziggler defeat Alex Riley. I said to myself, wow, Alex Riley in 2011, man. What a waste of talent. Beating The Miz at Capital Punishment in May. After that, he kind of slimmed down the pecking order. He ended up losing the Money in the Bank ladder match in July. He was in the WWE Championship Tournament. He lost to The Miz. I remember that. I'll get to the main event and talk about more details about the WWE Championship Tournament. He got eliminated in that, and he lost to Dolph Ziggler in the dark match at SummerSlam. And he went on to lose the United States Championship match to Ziggler at Night of Champions the following month. And wow, he's just fall down the pecking order, Alex Riley. It's got to do with injuries and John Cena playing politics. Don't want to get into it. And then afterwards, years later, he's slumped down to NXT. The NXT you see right now as a color commentator, feuding with Kevin Owens, coming back in the ring, got injured, got cut. I think he's now wrestling in the Indies. I want to see Alex Riley coming back in a major wrestling company. I don't think it will be in AEW. Not all wrestlers going to AEW. You might be going for Ring of Honor or Impact Wrestling. But it's just shame. What might have been with Alex Riley. Anyway, so the first match to kick off SummerSlam 2011, we got a 6-man tag team match. We got The Miz, R-Truth, and the Mr. Money in the Bank holder, Alberto Del Rio, taking on Kofi Kingston, John Morrison, and Rey Mysterio. This match is basically added to the last minute. No build to this match. You had basically Mysterio got beaten down by The Miz on the Go Home show to Raw. We got that match between R-Truth and John Morrison because they've been feuding since April, I think, when R-Truth turned on John Morrison, injured his neck in the process. Truth defeat John Morrison, I think it was on the Go Home show to Raw. It's a shame they never had a match on pay-per-view. I think this show missed the booth on it. That's just me. Del Rio was doing fine. He defeats, Daniel Bryan. You did the battle of the Money in the Bank holders on the Go Home show to SmackDown. It's just what it is. Miz basically cut a promo, put himself over. And it's just a it's just like killing time, and R-Truth, he was bragging about like spiders and Summerslam and CeeLo Green. CeeLo Green performed the SummerSlam theme music for the show. I like that. I like that. I think it's called Bright Nights. It's called. I like that. But it's just what it is. Anyway, the match was just an okay opener. It wasn't bad, but at the same time, I feel like it's a match you probably see on Monday Night Raw, not on a pay-per-view that's people spend a lot of money. That's just me. Del Rio is over in Los Angeles because this is a Hispanic crowd, same as Rey Mysterio. In the end, Ray pins, I think it's R-Truth or Miz. He hits like the 619, and I think it was a frog splash off the top rope. Not a frog splash, but like a pattern splash off the top rope to win this match. It's just what it is. Like I said, it wasn't a bad match. Wasn't a great match. Nothing special. It's just like a thumbs up the middle match for what it is to kick off SummerSlam 2011. It's not the last time we see Del Rio on this show. We get to the end. Anyway, so moving on to the next match. This is the match, you can say it's got some build to it. We got Mark Henry versus Sheamus. This was Sheamus' first pay-per-view as a babyface. At this moment in time, Mark Henry is full-blown. He was doing the whole Hall of Pain gimmick. He injured the Big Show at Money in the Bank. He injured Kane on the SmackDown after Money in the Bank. He injured Vladimir Kozlov. Injured in the legs. Kozlov would end up leaving the company. Never came back ever since. I think he pursued a career in, I think it was MMA. I think it's MMA and ice hockey. I don't think he'd come back in wrestling. I think he's officially done with pro wrestling. I think in recent years he's now an actor. It's good for him, but another talent they could do better. They kind of missed the boat on him. Kozlov. He got that push in 2008. Never pulled the trigger on a Kozlov push, and then after that he's just teaming up with Santino Marella, and he was teaming up with Regal in the final months of ECW as the third brand. Was it the Ruthless Roundtable? Then teaming up with Santino, and then he got cut. Anyway, so Mark Henry is like foam-blown monster, Hall of Pain, blah blah blah. Sheamus, he's entering this match as a babyface. Fans really got behind Sheamus a bit. He got cheered, and the cheers is not like canned. It felt like it was, they really getting behind Sheamus. Two guys they're getting these pushes. Anyway, the match was okay for what it is. Wasn't terrible, wasn't great. Like it's, Sheamus and Mark Henry, that could pull off like a 4-star classic, but it was a fun match to what it is. It was like another thumbs up in the middle match. Sheamus had some offense, and then Mark Henry, you could tell like dominate Sheamus throughout the bulk of the match. He gorilla pressed Sheamus. I think Sheamus is taller than Mark Henry. He's both the same height. He gorilla pressed Sheamus back in the ring. Sheamus got his comeback. In the end was a bit disappointing for me. I don't know. It's a bit okay. But here's the finish. So basically, Mark Henry, Sheamus broke it. Mark Henry out the ring. He didn't really bro kick, kicked him in the face. He basically kicked him in the stomach or chest area. Henry basically kind of almost God, I'm stumbling here. Anyway, he kind of like slammed Sheamus into the ring post and kind of rammed Sheamus. I'm trying to say ram. He rammed Sheamus into the ring post and into the barricade. Sheamus, basically Mark Henry won this match via a countout. Sheamus failed to get out and really get back in the ring in time. And I said to myself, I thought there was a double countout. Because I thought it was a double countout. But instead, when I watched it, preparing for this review, Mark Henry won this match via countout. It's just like weird to me. I thought it was just a double countout. If they did a double countout, I don't think it'll make them weak. I understand that we want to decide a decisive winner. It'd be okay because they're not fighting for a championship. But because you're building two guys, two prominent stars. Mark Henry's getting that push of his life. Sheamus is starting to build up again. As a babyface. But see, Sheamus lost by the countout. It's kind of weak. Mark Henry won this match, and also the first SmackDown after SummerSlam. They did the rematch. Sheamus also won the match via count. In the end, he had Mark Henry basically injured Sheamus. He injured his ribs. It's not like doing the same thing when he did to Big Show and Kane. Injured his ankle. It shouldn't have never continue this rivalry. They end up fighting again in 2013, but never fight again They fought once in 2012 during the feud between Sheamus and Daniel Bryan, but never a long lengthy. Not long. It wasn't a long lengthy feud, but never fought 1-on-1 again until 2012 and 2013. They went on to fight other competitors in the rest of the year. Sheamus fight with Christian. Mark Henry's in the world title picture. That's another story for another time. So anyway, okay match. Let's move on. Next match, we got Kelly, the Divas champion, with Eve Torres in her corner, defending the belt against Beth Phoenix, the Glamazon, with Natalia in her corner. So, I think it was on the Go Home show to Raw. You had Beth Phoenix basically really won this Battle Royal to face Kelly on the show. Beth turned on Kelly to turn heel in the process. And this was the start of the Divas of Doom. And by the way, get back to the opener shortly. And this was the start of Miz and R-Truth forming Awesome Truth. Another story, another time. Anyway, the match between Beth Phoenix and Kelly for the Divas Championship. This was an okay match. I thought it would be a piss break. It wasn't. Kelly has some offense. Beth has some offense. Locking Kelly with this type of back-breaking submission hold. I'm trying to keep it short and simple, folks. In the end, she was going for the Glam Slam on Kelly, but Kelly countered into a roll-up for the victory. I was fine for that. It was an okay match. They end up fighting again in the next 3 pay-per-views. This show, they fight at Night of Champions, and then I think Beth wins the title at Hell in a Cell. That's the future pay-per-views for another time. So yeah, the first 3 pay-per-views of the show, they were okay. They were not terrible matches, but at the same time, it wasn't fantastic. They were okay matches. Anyway, so the second half was basically a breath of fresh air. It kind of pick up the pace. There's one funny segment on the show. It was between R-Truth and Jimmy Hart. I think Jimmy wants to become R-Truth's manager, and R-Truth says, "You got to think big, not little, Jimmy." It's like, "Little Jimmy? What are you doing with Little Jimmy?" I'm not a big fan of the R-Truth, the Little Jimmy gimmick. I found it was cheesy, and he had some funny moments, but I'm not a big fan. If they just change up R-Truth's gimmick a little bit, because he's still this rapper. I wish they did this, heel rapper gimmick for R-Truth, because why? John Cena, become a rapper, got over. Usos, years later, got over. It's just me, bit of a minority. People like the R-Truth gimmick, as a heel in 2011. For me, not so much. But seeing this, basically had some funny moments, but seeing him with Jimmy Hart, it was funny for me. It was funny. Anyway, so get back to the next match. The next match we got Wade Barrett taking on Daniel Bryan. This is similar to the opening match. I feel like this is added to the last minute. Basically, Daniel Bryan become the SmackDown Money in the Bank holder after winning the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match at the previous month's pay-per-view Money in the Bank. Not Daniel Bryan. Wade Barrett got jealous because Daniel Bryan is Mr. Money in the Bank holder. Wade Barrett is not. I think I remember that. On the Go Home show to SmackDown, Wade Barrett cheap shot Daniel Bryan, hitting him with the wasteland after his match with Del Rio. This was added to the last minute. No build to it. This was a decent match, shockingly. At this moment of time, Wade Barrett has fallen to grace. I'm sorry, it's kind of is. In 2010, he won the first season of NXT, the crappy version of NXT, to forming the Nexus, and then John Cena buried that group at the previous year's SummerSlam. He was in the WWE title picture at the end of the year, and then let's fast forward in 2011. he got kicked out by the Nexus from the core. The core was a disaster on the SmackDown brand. It got some momentum in the beginning of 2011, and the group was phased out in the spring of 2011, and then I think he was booked like a loser. It's a shame. It's a fucking shame for Wade Barrett, in 2011, But Daniel Bryan, this was the fucking rise of Daniel Bryan because this is the same show. Last year he, made his return after he got fired for choking Justin Roberts' necktie when the Nexus debut on Raw. I think it was the June. I don't know what date of that Raw. I think it was June of 2010 when I think it was the first Raw in June when the Nexus debut. Yeah, Bryan got fired, came back, and it started his rise. He became the U.S. champion. He's now the Money in the Bank holder, and then end of the year will be the world champion. Anyway, the match was a decent match. Bryan had some offense. Joint manipulation on Barrett's arm and his legs. Bryan got his not Bryan's. It's getting confusing. Barrett got his heat back. Bryan trying to make Barrett tap out with a belt lock. He managed to reach the ropes. He was going for like a Hurricanrana. I think Barrett hit him with a clothesline. Hit the waistline for the win. I like the waistline way better than the bullpen elbow. That'll be like in in his final years in his first run in the company. That's just me. But I like the waistline way better than the bullpen elbow. I thought that was a dumb move. That's just me. Anyway, Barrett got the victory. I think Bryan has the last laugh because he ended up becoming the world champion at the end of the year. So moving on to basically the match of the night. The match of the night, we got Christian defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Randy Orton in a no-holds-barred match. So this is the end of this rivalry. This rivalry started in the spring of 2011. Edge retired due to neck paralyzation. He injured. His neck was playing up. Faked the world title. Christian won the world title against Del Rio in a ladder match at Extreme Rules. And then 5 days later, he lost the title to Randy Orton. That was a bullshit moment, and that really kicked off the rivalry. They fight at Over the Limit. They fight at Capital Punishment. They fight at Money in the Bank. Christian, at this moment in time, is a full-blown heel. Became this whiny bitch. So, we got the return of Edge. This is Edge's really first appearance since Extreme Rules after helping Christian defeat Del Rio to win the world title on that show. Anyways, he basically confronted Christian, because becoming a crying, whining, moaning bitch and left. Because he said, when I did it with panache and style. He totally agreed about losing the world title to Randall 5 days after he won it. But he just speaks the truth about Christian. They are friends too. Don't get me wrong, they're friends. They've been friends since high school. But it's just at this moment in time, Christian has become this whiny chicken shit heel. Don't get me wrong, I like Christian, but I find that Christians at this moment in time, it was getting stale. It was getting annoying. I like Christian. Don't get me wrong, but that's a one point Christian is. During his first run in the company, he was a heel, and his second run the same. He was a babyface when he came back, but anyway. So the match between Orton and Christian was fucking good. Match of the night, good chemistry between Orton and Christian. Because Money in the Bank, he won the title by disqualification after Orton basically kicked him in the balls after Christian spit in his face. Anyway, it was a good match. They told a good story. They went through fucking tables. Orton RKO Christian in the announce table. He put him through a table outside the ring, then inside of the ring. I'm trying to keep it short and simple, folks. In the end, he was going for an RKO. He tried to RKO him onto the steel steps. I think Christian kind of hits him with the candlestick. He was going for a move off the top rope. Orton hit the RKO out of nowhere onto the steel steps to win this match and regain the World Heavyweight Championship. It's a shame that Christian never got a lengthy reign as the world champion. It's a shame because he won his first world title, in May of that year. He dropped the belt after 5 days later. Then he, won the title again at Money in the Bank in July. He dropped it on the show. That was a month, but it's a shame he never got a lengthy reign. It has to do with timing. It's a shame. And in our current timeline right now, he's the Impact Wrestling World Champion. He defeated Kenny Omega on the first episode of AEW Rampage. I saw the results of it because I don't think I'll get Rampage where I'm from. It's a shame. I'll probably find the highlights of it, and watch it, but it's just what it is. So this was officially the end of the rivalry between Randy Orton and Christian. They fight one more time on a SmackDown. They did like the Super Show. What was it called? The Raw Super Show in a steel cage match for the world title. And then after that, after they fought one more time, they fought in the Elimination Chamber match in 2014. But the last time they fought one-on-one, it will be 9 years later in 2020. Sorry. And then Christian and Orton went off their separate ways. Orton's still on Raw. I think he's still on Raw. And Christian's now in AEW. He's now won his first title in AEW. Technically, it's not an AEW championship, but it's the Impact Wrestling World title. First world title for almost a decade. Anyway, so moving on to the main event. The main event we got. This is for the Undisputed WWE Championship. We got John Cena, the WWE Champion, versus CM Punk, the WWE Champion, with Triple H as the special guest referee. So, what's going on? After CM Punk shocked the world at Money in the Bank in 2011, the previous month, in his hometown Chicago, to beat John Cena for the championship in his final match in the company. He left the arena, and Punk left the arena towards the sunset. You thought you never seen CM Punk in WWE ever again. Unfortunately, you won't see CM Punk again for another 2 weeks. He kind of resigned, I think it was hours before the main event. I said it in my review of Money in the Bank 2011, so I thought Cena would get fired. It's a way to rein off Cena, because he's not going to fire Cena because Cena's the top guy in the company, but basically take some time off. Unfortunately, Triple H returned as the new COO for the WWE, relieved Vince of his duties. Vince did like a WWE Championship tournament. Rey Mysterio won that tournament and become the new champion. And then on the same night, Cena defeat Rey Mysterio for the same belt. CM Punk made his return. So this is setting up the Undisputed Championship match for the Undisputed WWE Championship. I don't understand why they did that. I think it was too soon to do the rematch for Money in the Bank between Cena and Punk. I wish they saved it for a future pay-per-view, because I fought so many times throughout the next 2 years. They fought on the show, they fought at Raw a month later, they fought at Raw 1000, fought at Summerslam in the triple threat match between, including the Big Show, fought at Night of Champions in 2012. Then they fought at Survivor Series in another triple threat match with Ryback, and they fought the Raw in 2013. They kind of dragged this rivalry to the ground for the next 2 years, but I wish they just did Miz. They could do many things they could do with it. They could do Miz versus Mysterio for the championship, or John Cena versus Rey Mysterio for the championship, or triple threat. But I think it's too forced, too soon. That's just me. But anyway, so the match was good. Not on the same level as their Money in the Bank match, but they told a good story. Good chemistry between John Cena and CM Punk. I think Punk kicked out of 2 AA attempts. I think Cena kicked out of 1. I think it's 1 GTS attempt. No, I think did he kick out of GTS attempt? I can't remember. Lost count. Cena locked Punk with the STF. Punk locked Cena with I think it's the Kochi clutch. It's called. It's the same move as Summerslam use. Cena countered that. They were chanting "Let's go Cena, CM Punk," but I know it's Cena sucks, but I think it looks like it's "Let's go Cena, CM Punk." The kids chanted for Cena, the adults chanted for Punk. In the end, the match ended in a bit of I can't really call it a controversial ending, but basically Punk hit the GTS onto Cena, Triple H did 3 counts, and Cena's foot was on the ropes. Triple H did not see that, and Punk became the Undisputed WWE Champion. I was okay with that. It's It didn't really bother me. It's just like, whatever, your people thought it's gonna be like a sign of a Triple H heel turn. We never got there until the 2013 SummerSlam event. In the end, we got the return of Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash came back. He made his return at the Rumble after spending 7 years or 6 years in TNA. He came back on this show, attacked CM Punk, clotheslined him, hit the jackknife powerbomb, and then you got Del Rio, came out of nowhere, cash his Money in the Bank briefcase, hit Punk with the Izaguri to win this match and become the new WWE champion. We got 2 champions in a matter of seconds. Really 5 times actually. Over the span of a month, we had new WWE champions. We had Punk defeat Cena at Money in the Bank, and then Rey Mysterio defeat The Miz in the finals of the WWE Championship tournament, and then on the same night, Cena defeat Mysterio for the same championship, and then Punk defeats Cena on this show, and now Dario just defeat Punk. So 5 times in the span of a month. And I think the championships changed 6, 7 times in 2011. 8 times? Wow, that's fucking like holy crap. But this is the Summer of Punk. Yeah, this is not going in hand. They cannot do what Ring of Honor did a couple of years ago. I don't want to get into it. I don't really follow Punk in Ring of Honor. I might see some bits and pieces, but not. I didn't really follow his career in Ring of Honor. I saw the bit of the, like I said, just bits and pieces, but not his full-length career in Ring of Honor. But it's just like what it is. And also before that, Punk kind of punked out Stephanie McMahon. Because Steph kind of wished Punk a good luck, and Punk kind of dissed her. Like, I don't know what he said. I don't know what the ham bean. It's something like Chris Jericho said back in the. It's kind of, I don't say reference attitude here. It's just what it is. Kind of like you cannot say slut because it's PG, it's PC. It's just what it is. I kind of laughed my ass off when he digged Steph, man. Anyway, so my final rating for SummerSlam 2011. Boy, I'm gonna give it a 7. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7. 7 out of 10. I was almost giving it 6 out of 10. I thought this was like a forgettable SummerSlam. To be honest, this was a decent, fun SummerSlam. Let's be honest. It was a decent, fun show to watch. Nothing in the bad, to be honest. But the only thing in the okay has to be the opener. Henry versus Sheamus. Kelly versus Beth Phoenix. And that's it. I don't really rate the Punk and Del Rio match. It was a very short match for what it is. The matches in the good was Barrett versus Daniel Bryan. The match of the night has to be, Orton versus Christian for the World Heavyweight Championship in the No Holds Barred match. And John Cena versus CM Punk, the Money in the Bank rematch for the undisputed WWE Championship. So it just set up the rest of 2011. So hope you enjoyed my review of SummerSlam 2011. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash the like button. Click the like. Become the Central Unit member today, or you're missing out on the fun. Next time, I got me thinking. Let's cover the rest of WWE in 2011. How the year of Punk. I'm gonna call it the year of Punk. I don't call it the summer of Punk. The year of Punk. I got to realize Punk competed in a lot of pay-per-views. He competed in 12 pay-per-views a year in WWE. Royal Rumble to TLC. I will cover Royal Rumble next time when I get to Royal Rumble season. But let's cover the rest of Punk's year in 2011. I will cover non-2011 shows. It's not me just back to back, reviewing WWE pay-per-views of that year. I'm gonna spread it out by month. Next time I'll review Night of Champions 2011. That'll be in a few weeks' time. That'll be next month, to be honest. But I'm gonna end the rest of the month with classic SummerSlam shows. So next time, let's go to 1993. That's the next pay-per-view review in the classic WWE pay-per-view segment. So let's go to the year 1993. Let's. The next one will be a shitter SummerSlam. Because last year I covered a shit of SummerSlam, actually two shit of SummerSlam, SummerSlam 2007 and SummerSlam 2010. Let's go to the 90s. SummerSlam 1993. Oh boy. Good old USA Lex Luger versus the heel foreign Japanese WWF champion Yokozuna, including the Rest in Peace match between The Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez. That's the next pay-per-view. SummerSlam 1993. This is the Central Man officially signing out. Check you later.